Okay, good day, YouTube. Let's go ahead and start on this week's update. We left off last week. Saw my gastro, and was waiting for this appointment to come up with my primary care. The gastro changed my prescriptions, took me off some, up some, and they worked really fast with what she did. And so I went and talked to my primary care physician, which I guess was Tuesday, and let her know about the change in the scripts. She didn't seem too thrilled about them since those were her ideas to begin with. And I kind of just told her, my gastro said don't do anything without running it by her. And we chucked the sodium tabs and up these other two to, adult strength. And so I've been peeing like Moby Dick. And it's helped a lot. And so I told her these things, and we talked about my medications, and they finally asked me about one that I take. And it's always been on the list. I've never lied to my doctors what I put in my body. This is what I take. And so they wanted me to sign a release so they could get 40 years worth of records from another doctor that I've been seeing almost all my life. And for what's wrong with me now and what I see the doctor, it's just two different things. I'm not even going to get into it. It has nothing to do with what's going on now. Nothing whatsoever. And I had to tell them, I think 3 times, I'm just not going to change anything. I'm not going to tell you who this doctor is. And this is the reason why I've never talked to you about this other medication I'm on. It's really none of your damn business, and it has nothing to do with you or with what's wrong with me. And they weren't too thrilled about that, and yada yada. And so we left, and she wrote my script for my pain pills, and of course we have to talk about that, and I have to remind them, you sent me to the pain specialist, you wanted me to go there and we would do what the pain specialist suggests, and that's what we're doing. And so lump it or like it. And I just kind of left. Their incompetence, it's just, I just ignored anymore. I already know what's going to happen. I have an appointment with this new doctor coming up on the 18th, and I'm just going to fire my primary care physician and tell him to go take a flying leap. You guys can't even fill out a simple COVID order, for a COVID test. And you're not above my GI. Your scope of practice just isn't equal to what my gastrologist's scope of practice is, And she's the one that's going to save my life, if it is savable. Or at least give me a comfortable life to live until I die. One of the two. And so yesterday, back up just a few days, back up 2-3 days, must have been like Monday. And I came out here and I had my wife, I said, man, look at my belly. So I showed her my belly, and it's all like, symmetrical and not all ballooned out and weirded. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything in there, or very, very little. And so yesterday, we had to go to get my peritonitis. And I've talked to him about this before, just in case this happens, I don't need it. is it an issue, does it screw you over if I go all the way down there and you throw the transducer on me and there's, I don't need it. And so that wasn't a problem, and it never has been. So after 22 peritonesis, well, I think it was 22, I believe it was 22 yesterday. So they throw the transducer on, and she peeks around, she's like, man, she's like, there's nothing really in there. It's like, that's what I said, I don't think you're going to have anything to look at. And so she always flips the whole screen around and points stuff out to me and shows me. She's a wonderful gal, And I don't know, I came up with maybe 1 liter in me. And it just doesn't justify the peritonesis. I wasn't in pain. And so I just told her, I was like, let's not do it, There's no reason to poke a hole in me. Every time we poke a hole, there's a risk of peritoneum infection, which is really bad. And so we didn't do it. And I thanked them, and hopefully they got somebody in there that who did need it, because they're hurting for radiologists still down there. And they've taken really good care of making sure I'm on the list, because they know how much I've been, my outtake is, And so we parted ways. I'm scheduled for next week, for next Tuesday. And went over and got my phlebotomy. So I didn't have no infusion. I had no peritonesis, no infusion. And so everything went great, and got my lab numbers. Man, they look pretty good, and not bad at all. And my ferritin level, it's dropped down to 244 now. I'm in the normal range going down the back side, and they want me all the way on the back side of that normal range. But so we're still heading there. They took phlebotomy, like I said, yesterday. So I'm sure that number will go down. And man, got in and out of there, splittity split. I don't think we're gone a total of 2 hours, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And so that's where we're at. And no complaints really. I got a lot of muscle pain still, and some joint pain. And as far as the abdomen goes, abdominal pain, the ascites is gone, so that pain has really dissipated a lot, and feels good. And let's hope that keeps up, And if I make it out till next Tuesday, that'll be 14 days since my last peritonesis. As you know, I've been having them pretty much every 7th day. A couple of times I had it in 6th. I was just scheduling problems. And yesterday would have been 8 days, which is another scheduling problem, but I didn't need it. So that's where we're at. Not a whole lot really more to say, Just gonna enjoy this time right now, and everything's on a level plane. I'm still sick, but not deathly ill sick. Like I've said before, there was some times I thought it was over. I thought it was it, and I feel a lot better now. And so, just gonna hang in there. We'll see how it goes. They're gonna take a blood test tomorrow. My GI is, and if the numbers are good, she's gonna go ahead and up the Lasix and the diuretics. She's gonna go ahead and up them a little bit more, I believe, is the plan. And she wanted me to be on them for about a week or so, 10 days, and to see what happens. with electrolytes and whatnot. They don't want to do all this and have some big giant electrolyte shift and I fall over from a heart attack. But we'll see where we're at there. And have made my decision to change primary care. Really, I have. He seems like he's the king on top of the pedestal. And I sit there and listen to him. And it's like, well, you send me to these specialists, but you act like you know more than the specialists. This doesn't make any sense. You're sending me to them because it's outside your scope of practice. But you don't like what they do. I don't get it. Without the primary care, I can't get the referrals, and I can't get the orders. And so basically, they're just insurance people. That's all, insurance collectors. That's what they are. I mean, just be real about it. They're insurance collectors. And he wants to start talking about, this other doctor, and he's like, well, who's your rheumatologist? And I'm like, well, I don't have one. I don't have one of those. And all I can see is more dollar signs, in his eyes, It's like, well, it's like, man, we ain't going to touch this, We're just not going to. On the way out, of course, they had a slip of paper there, and they wanted me to, sign it to give them permission. But I wouldn't even give them the doctor's name. And they're like, well, we can get your doctor moved over here and, closer. I'm like, I only got to see the man once a year. And it's a drive to Roseburg once a year. It's about 4 hours, I guess, for me to get to Roseburg, once a year. And he just looks me over, refills my script for a year, and I'm out the door. And that's just it, one doctor visit. But I wouldn't give him any information. And I don't know, so we'll see what they say. I'm sure the doctor knows by now that I didn't. It was the receptionist that had the paper, I'm just like, nah, I won't be doing this, not today. I don't know what part of no you don't understand, but that's the least of my worries, and it doesn't need any attention right now for my other problem. But not much else to talk about. Our poor friend in California, boy, he seems to be rapidly deteriorating. Feel sorry for the guy. He's 30-year retired veteran, and he's not getting any care. And he's asking for pain meds now. And they told him to take a couple of Tylenol like every 4 hours, and which is just I don't even know why they say that. For someone that has all this cancer in his body, to tell him to take some Tylenol, I don't know. That just doesn't go over good with me. And, especially when it's one of my fellow brothers in arms, And so I was in yesterday getting my phlebotomy. The wife texted her and said, well, how's he doing? And, he's lost 10 pounds in 1 week already. And they finally got a hold of someone for, on the pain pills. They told him to double his Tylenol. And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, does he need some help, But I don't know, stage 4 inoperable, and they just tell you to take Tylenol. It's just not right, This is a man that served our country 30 years. And I don't know if he's just in a bad area for VA help. He's supposed to be on, I guess, some kind of CARES Act so that they could get him and let him pick out a hospital or whatever closer to home, which is ready. Otherwise, yeah, I think he has to go down to Sacramento, I believe, for the next, a VA. Either that or sometimes he has to go all the way up to Roseburg to get treated. VA just sucks. Ain't no way around it. It just sucks. So I don't know what they found. We try not to pry too much, but they done told us enough, Guy ain't got long to live. Not long at all. And this is all you can do for him. I won't say anything more about that because I don't want to get in trouble with the government. But, if he suffers much longer, we'll figure something out. And we'll just leave it at that. Weather's been okay. Foggy. It's kind of weird how the weather works. When it's hot and sunny in the valley, it's foggy and cool over here. So they're banging like 95, 98 over in the valley. Rerun 65 degrees over here. And so this is our tourist season, so we get a lot of tourists that come over. But we've had some good sunny days, 70, 75, and nothing else to say. The wife might go down to Redding. She's got 3 days off for the 4th of July. I'm not sure. She might have to work one day or something to make up for me and one of my appointments, but we'll see how it goes. We'll know for sure tomorrow. And I've gotten a few more donations in. Highly appreciated. We're most grateful for the help. And medical care is not cheap. And boy, that's it. I mean, really, no complaints, really. If this medication change is going to be doing this, I'm a pretty happy camper. Feels kind of weird not having the ascites. Really, it does, And it just feels strange, after 22 weeks of having them done weekly. And I was talking to the wife about it. It's like, man, it feels weird, She's all worried. She's like, what's wrong, Like, I don't know. I guess this is what normal's supposed to be like. It's just been so long, I forgot, My stomach's not, like I said, it's not all bulging out on the sides and doing that weird crap, It's normal, Joe Jock stomach going on, Not that great, but it's back to normal, And growls a lot. And I can tell I'm already eating a little bit more. The lack of ascites is letting my actual stomach expand back to where it should be. And so the eating's good. I'm trying to eat good. My GI's happy with that. I covered that, I think, last week. Just keep eating whatever you're eating. And I'll tell you something, when we got to the sodium tabs, which was the first thing we talked about on the list with both doctors, last week with the GI and this week. And I told her, well, my GI jerked me right off of there and couldn't fathom why anybody would put me on it to begin with. And so she's reading, she's like, 2 grams of sodium a day, which 2,000 milligrams. I'm like, yeah, that's what she said. Try to stay under that. And there was absolutely no reason for me to be taking sodium tabs. You're giving me 2,000 milligrams a day, And So when I go to check out, she gives me these aftercare instructions. You know, I can't make this up. Wife's already filed it, but you know, it says stay on a high protein, no salt diet. You know, and sadly, someone's gonna do the no salt diet. And that's what they told me, and that's what I did. And you want to talk about tanking out and heading to the hospital, just go 0 sodium for a while and see what happens. You know, and I couldn't believe it. It's like, you know, how much false information do you have to give one patient? You know, we sit here and talked about it, you know. She wants me to have salt, you know, just try to keep it under the 2,000 milligrams. And, you know, for her to write no salt, you know, I had to reread it a couple of times and show it to the wife. I'm like, look, it says no salt. And you're going to tank. You're going to hit the floor. And that's what did happen to me before, you know. I ended up down in ER and, you know, and they're pumping sodium in me, you know, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, they told me don't have any sodium. And so, by golly, I cut the sodium out of my diet. You know, if that's not what you meant, you should have explained it better. But, you know, here it is again. No sodium. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I just ignored it. And hopefully we'll have a good appointment with this new doctor. He's already got all my records. And he's had 2, 3, I think it's been 3 months I've been waiting for this appointment. 2 months, 3 months, somewhere 2.5 months, split the middle there. And, you know, he's had time to go over them. And it's all at his fingertips. He's in the Cirrhosis network and just sit down at his computer wherever, you know, anywhere in his office and can pull up my records and go through them. And I'm not sure what he's got from the GI. And, you know, but the pertinent ones, he has them already. But that's it. It's scheduled out, like I said, till Tuesday. You know, I can just go down and have them throw the transducer on me, and they leave it up to me, you know, if I want them to poke a hole in me or not. And I don't want any more holes than is absolutely necessary, because there is that risk of the peritoneum wall infection, which is deadly pretty much from what I can read and been told by my GI. But you guys be healthy. Enjoy your 4th of July. Remember why we celebrate it. You know, it's not all about hot dogs and soda pop. But you guys have a nice long weekend. And maybe I'll get some footage. I don't know. Just for a change. I can see the fireworks show from my house. So I don't have to go nowhere. Just look out the window. And be healthy. Be safe out there. Enjoy the 4th. Peace out.